We have amazing new decorations in Jurassic World Evolution 2, and I played around with them, found some fun combinations, and that's what I wanted to show you in this short and sweet park building inspiration video. So let's get right into it. Short and sweet, short.
You sure about that?
Bless Frontier for giving us the T-Rex and Alamo statue as two separate decorations, because however tempting it is to combine them, and they do combine beautifully, as I've also done another example for later in this video, but it's also just fun to use them individually. So what I did here is I just combined the Rex skeleton with more of the natural pieces. For example, this rock right here, which perfectly matches the rock texture that the Rex itself is balanced on. It sort of grounds the decoration a little bit more. I surrounded it with foliage, and you could imagine that in front of it would be a path, for example, like a guest section right in front of it. It could be an area, hold on, let me curve it a little bit better. There, like that, and you can pretend that both the left and the right path lead towards an exhibit that perhaps houses the T-Rex itself. The decorations from this new update are absolutely amazing, but I do think that you can make them look even better by combining them like this, because you make them much grander and you can really incorporate them more beautifully in your park if you surround them with decorations like this. And by the way, this is where I point out that all of the examples that I will be showing you are completely unmodded. However, you will notice that there is a combination of different biome foliages in this example. So that would only be for PC, PS5 and Xbox XS players. However, as you can see, you can easily overhaul this design to make use of only the foliage type within a single biome, which is what old console gamers are limited to. And you can really see the different effects that you can create by picking different types of foliage. Speaking of that, I have one more example like this to show you, and that will be this one over here. So here I use the Alamosaurus skeleton, and I combined it with foliage from the Pennsylvania map, the what's it called, autumn temperate, something like that. And you can really see what the different effects of that are. I think the key here is to just give it like a backdrop of foliage and ground it with a couple of matching rocks, as I've done over here. Alright, let's go on to more examples. For this one, I've also used the skeletons, and I did combine the two of them together, but I did it a little bit differently than might be your first instinct, by putting the fountain in between them. And again, just using plenty of foliage and rocks to make the skeletons stand out less from the environment. It really helps them make them part of the environment. And you can imagine that this is like the centerpiece of a plaza or a cross section within your park, with paths branching out in several different directions, going into different areas of your layout. If you combine this with how you might normally be tempted to combine the two skeletons, because this is how you would combine them for a movie accurate look, which is totally fine, and we will be using this in the next example. But you can see that by spreading it out and adding more decorations, you can really make a much larger decorative piece out of it, which is honestly what the game really needs, just bigger things. But as you can see here, just by combining the right pieces, you can create that effect. For this example, you can see that I did combine them as closely together as possible, but I used the banner over top of it, which really just mimics the classic look that we get from the original Jurassic Park movie. I think this is a super cool use of it, of combining these decorations. And you can see that at the side there, I used some other decoration pieces to fill up this blank massive pillar a little bit more. Another example of that, and this one I really love, is using these egg pieces in front of it. Those are actually from the same era, so this is something that you can do on older consoles as well, because the eggs are also part of the Jurassic Park building set, same as the beautiful new banner. By the way, if you are enjoying these combinations and getting some ideas and inspiration out of them, don't forget to like the video. Alright, with that done, let's go on to the next one. Okay, this is a really basic one that I wanted to showcase, but I think this is a cool use of the pieces, using these arches to go around the gates. You can see that I doubled up the gates to give the effect on both sides, and we've lined it with walls, so you can imagine that you would have a path go through here. Like that. And you can take this to the next level with foliage. For example, if I were to add my favorite tree into the mix, which has this really lovely overhang. Let's make sure we get it away from the gate. So, you know, we limit the fire hazard. Well, not entirely. We minimize it. Let's say we minimize it. You can really create a more spooky and secluded look by doing that. And of course, you can also get foliage in here like that. Now that's a fire hazard. We're gonna ignore that though. But you can see that you can create some really cool narrow secluded pathways throughout your park. And for example, this could lead into a special area, and you would really have that wow effect of coming through what is essentially a tunnel. You've created a tunnel. So you obstruct your view and you build like this mystery for your guests as they are walking through. And then ahead, as they leave the wall pieces behind, the rest of the park opens up to them. That could be made especially cool if you use the terrain elevation, play around with that a little bit, and lower the section in front of it so you can really just look very far into the distance as you go over here. This is not something that the game actually has a mechanic for, but this is just to keep yourself entertained as you're building and exploring your own parks. This video is turning out longer than anticipated. Very interesting. Okay, this one we are gonna make short.
You sure about that?
We've created like this little peekaboo moment with the mural. So instead of using the full mural all over the place, so this is like the full image, let's say you want to just highlight a certain part of it, a certain species. So for this one, I highlighted the Velociraptor. You could do the same with the Parasaurolophus. Place the other thing in front of it, and this way, you've created like a more dedicated little art section. So you could use this specifically for the entry point to the Velociraptor habitat, for example. You won't have the path go through it, the path would simply go right by it. Alright, so this is one that you might recognize from my mini Nublar build, which is a park building series we're doing on the channel right now, weekly episodes. By the way, if you're down for more park building inspiration, consider subscribing to the channel. What you can do here, which is super cool, is that this, I've used the Lagoon Wall piece, and it has a more flexible hitbox on it, let's say. So we can get this one here. You can clip it right into the wall, create a really cool backdrop, really break up the concrete of the Lagoon Wall. And again, you create like this tunnel effect with a cool reveal moment. So if I put the camera in there, so people would be walking through here, flanked on either side. Again, that like secluded experience, and then bam, it opens up into like a beautiful new guest section or another awesome vista point. You can do a lot with this, and I just flanked it with these little gardens. This is one of my favorites, and it's a take on something that I really enjoy doing in multiples of my parks, which is rather than have the path directly connect towards a viewing gallery, so you would actually see the building, it actually takes you into a separate section. So guests would walk through here, they would walk towards this beautiful mural, and then they can go to either side towards a viewing gallery, which could either look out into separate enclosures or into the same enclosure. And I like doing this. I think it gives, you know, more drama to the whole thing. And also it sort of, it makes it more varied than just putting, hold on, let me visualize this for you. It just creates a very different effect from just doing this. So this is like, this is the standard, right? This is the bog standard right here. This is what we've all done a million times. And Frontier's done a wonderful job decorating this building and making it look interesting. It's not about that, but we've seen this a million times at this point. And you can see just what a hugely different effect this creates. And you can obviously play around with which types of flags you put in front of here to sort of announce whatever attraction that is hidden behind this wall piece. I really like the effect that this creates, and these wall pieces are so versatile. They are a godsend. After this one, I'm going to show you some examples in the dark and play around with the lighting feature, but this I think is super cool, stellar you might even say, and it is like an outdoor restaurant. And you can see that again, I've created like this completely secluded section. Really, like this path feeds into this mini plaza. A terrace, really more like, and it's just connected to a single building. It doesn't lead anywhere, so you can really see this as part of the building itself. And our guests would go in here. Again, you create like that backdrop and that mystery with the mural. Of course, you can also just use one of those fossil wall pieces for this, or a line of foliage. Guests would walk around here, and then completely secluded from the rest of the park, this really private, peaceful area for your guests to rest. You're using the backdrop of the mural here for your outdoor restaurant, placing the tables and chairs in front of it, and you have your amenity right here. Having the amenity over here, by the way, is very important, because this way your guests will actually come over here. Now, you could totally just, like, bam, get rid of that. Let me do this quickly, or try to at least. This is not going to be pretty, but there. You could do this as well, like a secluded rest stop area. But if you do this, be aware that you will not actually see your guests use this path, because obviously the game doesn't recognize this as a destination for the AI to go to, so your guests will completely ignore this. It's a fun moment though, so you can definitely also do this. But by adding the restaurant, or again, an attraction also works, you ensure that your guests actually use this. Unfortunately, not many of the new Jurassic Park decorations have recolorable lights. That would have been top tier though, Frontier. Just giving you a little wink wink, a little suggestion over here. But you can see, I think this looks absolutely gorgeous. So we've created a semicircle with the new curved wall pieces. And we've added the biosyn fountain in front of it, but of course you can substitute this with any of the other fountains. I think the DNA helix would work especially well also. And in the back, I've used trees to give it some height and add in more color, add in more nature. And in the front are our tables and chairs. So you would imagine this one as connecting to your guest path, maybe like that, just really simple, a little circle taking guests away from, like, you know, this is a path purely for traffic, getting from point A to point B, and then off to the side, they can have a little bit of a rest. Now, the wall lights themselves might not be recolorable, but we can definitely put recolorable lights in front of it, and you can see that they illuminate the wall and create like a completely different effect. So for this one, I used 2 different biosyn decoration pieces, and I've put Mr. DNA in front of it as well. Mr. DNA is super cute, but he feels a little bit flimsy just by design. So actually a little like side tip here is to combine Mr. DNA with some other decoration just to give it a little bit more weight, so he doesn't disappear in your guest areas or wherever you end up placing them. So this really like gives Mr. DNA a moment to shine, and changing the colors on these lights has a huge effect, which I'll show because I have a couple more examples to show you. So the next one, oh, that looks so good. Sorry, I love this color combo. It is a little bit the color combo of my my channel banner after all. But again, just using the biosyn like light posts, facing them towards, this is the arch wall piece. I placed them like right in front of the concrete pillars because, you know, at the end of the day, they do obstruct the view of the mural a little bit. But by placing them in front of the pillars, you're obstructing a part of the mural that is boring anyway, right? You don't want to put them in front of the actual fossil part. And you can just see how beautifully the colors play together here. And actually, it combines really nicely with just the normal lighting on the wall piece itself. And there you go, just to give you an example of what you can do with this, you can just put tables and chairs in front of it, obviously, create yet another section for your guests to just take a little bit of a rest. Or use it as, oh god, sorry. Or use it as the backdrop for the Spinosaurus skeleton or some other decoration. Put Mr. DNA in front of there. Whatever you want. But this, again, it just makes the Spinosaurus just way more epic and really turns it into something unique. Because, you know, the Spinosaurus skeleton, we use that a million times throughout our park, but you can make it look different every single time with the types of decorations that you combine him with. Okay, I'm still not done. Almost though, but still not done. So this is another one, putting a fountain in front of it. The fountain has a much larger hitbox, so you can see the limited illumination that the fountain has on the wall piece, but I still want to show you this one. Again, completely unmodded, just need to remind you. And this is potentially one of my favorites. I think that looks super cool, especially the blue somehow works really well. But you can see how beautifully this particular fountain or water piece, water thing, I don't know. You know the best words, I don't know them. But yeah, you can see you can get them pretty close. I'm not disappointed with that. So they actually have a very sizable effect on how they illuminate this wall. Again, using the biosyn lights on either side of it. And let's hop into like our lighting change feature. And there, you can just see what a huge difference that makes and all of the different combinations that you can create. Like you can get pretty obnoxious with it, not gonna lie. And actually, the last thing I wanted to show you is that even if you make it really simple, that's already kind of cool. The way you just see like the tiniest hint of blue at the edges and then the white light at the center. Last week, I did a speed build and showcase for an outdoor visitor center tour using all of the new decorations. You can check that out right now for more park building ideas. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game.